Hello, everyone. This is Ann Miller French with Angelic Hands, and I am streaming live on my page for Angelic Hands as well as my YouTube channel. Hello and welcome. And I wanted to talk about quite a few things. I am actually a bit tired today. My guides had me up really early this morning, and I was receiving a lot of downloads and information, and it usually tends to be about the 3 o'clock mark in the morning or so. And that's when our soul, our spirit is very active and making that connection and receiving an information. So you'll typically see posts from me quite early. So depending on which social media platform you are connected with, you'll see different things. So you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm on MeWe and LinkedIn. Trying to think where else I'm at. So if you take a look at my website, ReikiAngelicHands.com, that's ReikiAngelikHands.com, you'll see all the different social media platforms and different ways that you can stay connected with me. Anyone that's not familiar with who I am, again, my name is Ann Miller French, and I am the owner and founder of Angelic Hands, and started my practice back in early 2016. And although I started with Reiki therapy, my practice has grown exponentially since then, and it's just morphed over the years. And as I continue to work with what I call the muscle of my psychic gifts and my mediumship gifts, and started to add on different things. So I have clients that I work with. All of my services are done remotely. They're by appointment only, but I have clients that come to me for psychic readings, medium readings. I work with clients, anything from A to Z during their quantum life coaching sessions. Hi, Roseanne. Thank you for the beautiful flower. That reminds me I need to look for sunflower seeds today. Thank you for that. So yeah, I wear many different hats, and I still offer Reiki. Everything is done remotely. It's done distant. Quantum energy healing, light language healing. If you're not familiar with any of those things, I welcome you to take a look at my website. There's a full description for each one. But I really wanted to share a few things that happened to me. As I mentioned in the last live, there was so much energy that we went through. If you look at, everything that occurred on August 8th, and we had the Lionsgate energies, we had the new moon energies, and Mother Earth has just infiltrated with so much light energy coming in, and light codes and downloads. And I had a point where I felt so overwhelmed last week, where I realized that even for me, and I've been working on my holistic journey going back to 1990-91 time frame, where I was really dipping my toes in the water and trying different things, and looking for alternative ways to bring about healing to my body, mind, spirit. And it was just a good reminder for me to slow down. And that's what I'm being guided to share with whoever needs to hear this message today. We received so much, light that came in, and now our bodies have to recalibrate. So it's literally lightening us up. But physically, if you're feeling exhausted, tired, if you have anything going on with dizziness or vertigo, aches, pains, any congestion in your head, anything sinus related, if you're noticing that there's, things that you're feeling in your body that you didn't feel before, this is all perfectly normal. It's totally normal. You may have had very vivid dreams, broken sleep, again, as I mentioned in the start of this live, waking up or early in the morning and just feeling like you've got the monkey mind going, but you're receiving a lot of information. So what I tend to do is I take what inspires me and realize what part of me is in the driver's seat. Okay, am I connected with my higher self at this time? Is my ego trying to get my attention, or is this my inner child speaking? And typically when it's that 3 a.m., 4 a.m. time frame, it tends to be my higher self, so my soul receiving, sharing information, receiving information, and then I take that and share as I'm being guided. Some of it is just personally for me, but then there are a lot of times where I'm being guided to share that information with all of you. So, what Spirit is showing me right now is we were literally, it's like if you think of going inside of a shaker cup and just shaking everything up and all the stuff that had to be uprooted and things that were cleared out. So, if you notice things in your dreams, we clear out things when we're sleeping, when you're awake. So this real dense, heavy, dark stuff that just has to come up, come out. So if you had emotional purging, again, that's all totally normal. And I'll be the first to admit I had some emotions that came to the surface. I had some different things that I had to make peace with, and even taking a look at my shadow aspect of self. And big part of this journey is not only embracing and loving our light, but also looking at the parts of us that we've left behind. And it's calling back all those pieces, like pieces of the puzzle, the fragments of our soul, and bringing them back home, welcoming them back home, and providing them with a safe environment. So it's I talk about dark night of the soul and shadow work and healing and purging and all these different things. And I noticed that there were, things that definitely came up, and I took that time to work with it and to sit with it and have a good, honest, inner dialogue with myself. And with always knowing that I came here at this time, I chose to be here at this time. And it's like being the first one running out of the gate doesn't mean that I'm better than, lesser than. We are all equal. We are literally all equal. And that's what I'm hearing from Spirit is um, coming from that space of love and compassion, meeting people where they're at, and knowing that whether you're just starting out in your journey or if you've been working with it for a while, wherever you are in the spectrum, there's no right or wrong. We shouldn't be in a space where we're judging each other, but meeting others where they're at, and most importantly, meeting yourself where you're at. So if you find that you need to slow down, take a break, get some rest, hydrate more, get out in nature, uh, really staying connected, grounding. So I cannot even stress this enough how important it is with the breath work, taking those deep breaths in, and equally as important, taking the deep breath out. So, with everything that was coming up, and now with the dust settling, there's different things that we can do to continue to navigate and move forward. So it's just being, um, just be. And that's what I'm hearing is allow things to continue to settle. You're going to have a clearer idea if you haven't already gotten inklings of it. Like today, the beginning of this week, and starting to feel more settled in your body and following those inner nudges and the guidance that you're receiving. So if that means um, doing some deeper inner work, that's a big part of what I do. And what I was alluding to before is being the first one out of the gate, if you will. Like I have to literally practice what I'm preaching. So It's the words that I always hear is the only way out is through. Like I literally have to walk through it, face it, bring love to it, bring healing to it, and it's creating more space in the body and being able to have that compassion, have that empathy, and being able to hold space for others that are just maybe just starting out, not quite sure what to make of, everything that's going on. So whatever it is that you're being called to do at this time, really follow that inner guidance, that inner GPS system that I've been talking about for years. The other thing that I wanted to make mention is you may have seen some posts recently on my Facebook page and on MeWe, wherever you're connected with me. So I have my next workshop that's coming up next month in September. I have the date and time listed. Everything is Central Standard Time. Even if you can't make the live and you'd still like to get a copy of the replay, all you have to do is go out, click on the link. I'll send that out again this week and register, submit payment, and you'll be signed up, and then you can let me know. Excuse me, and it's called Matters of the Heart. And this has a lot to do with, these questions that came up. What is your current relationship with yourself? What is your relationship with others? What is your relationship with your inner child? So, really going to take a look at different things. It's going to be 60 minutes to go through the different scenarios. We're going to go through different exercises. I'm going to teach you some amazing and powerful techniques that you can start using that day to make more space and to be able to recognize where you still have walls, a fortress built around your heart, where you're still holding yourself back from allowing that love relationship with yourself and loving others and receiving love. So it's that two-way street. And I'm going to incorporate some light language therapy. So anyone that's not familiar with what light language is, it is the language of the soul. So when I'm speaking it, it may sound like absolute gibberish, but your soul understands it. It's received at the deepest cellular level of the body. So it's a beautiful healing modality for body, mind, spirit. Helps bring about balance. Whatever you're meant to receive from any transmission that I do, you will take it in. You'll notice things changing. And that's really what it comes down to, is asking yourself that question from that point forward. What's different? Like taking note of what's different. Do I feel different? How are my relationships with myself? Can I truly stand in front of the mirror and say, I love you? I'm so proud of you. What are your relationships with your closest intimates, like people currently in your life? What are your relationships with your family members, with your friends, with your colleagues? And with life in general. So if you really find that you're struggling with anything right now, just hold hold space for yourself at this time and try not to rush the process. You're exactly where you're meant to be, and know that there are different things that are playing out for each and every one of us right now, and it's an opportunity for you to look at, okay, what is my current platform? When am I being asked to get up on stage? When am I being asked to speak my truth? What is my truth right now? How is my current relationship with self and with others? So if there are things that are not flowing, there's things that are imbalanced, perhaps it's time to take a look at reaching out. So whether that's with me or somebody that you resonate with. And as I mentioned, a lot of the work that I do, it's the healing of the inner child. It's that self-care, that self-love, taking a look at what is your relationship with your health, wellness, your freedom. Perhaps you're looking at career, working with your gifts, the ascension process, the awakening, getting an understanding of what's going on. Why am I feeling like this? Why am I hearing these things? Why am I seeing these things? pretty much anything that you can think of there. It's even if you're working through any sort of addiction right now, and when we have an addiction, it's to numb out the pain that we're feeling inside or the grief that we're feeling inside. Or addiction is simply, it's a coping mechanism to help us not feel, to not face what's coming up. And it's coming up, it's meant to get our attention. Or if you're working on your relationship with time, or what are your abundance blocks? So what's standing in your way of, the freedom in any area of your life? Oh, I'm just reading your note, Roseanne. Okay, that sounds good. Most definitely. Reach out, let me know. I can make a recommendation on what would work best for you, Roseanne. And to anyone out there that's watching this on the live or catching it on the replay, if you're not sure where to start, whether it's taking the workshop or doing a one-on-one, send me a private message, shoot me a quick email, give me a call, and let's connect and see what would be a great starting point for you. And like I said, all the information is listed on my website, ReikiAngelicHands.com. That's angelic with the letter K. So a lot of good info out there, and I will tell you that my changes didn't happen overnight, and I'm still continuing to grow, to learn, and just really tuning in as far as where I'm being guided. And that's a big part of this process, is trusting what's coming up at this time. Trust where you're being guided. And if you're feeling it, like you need to slow down, or for example, if you're running, all of a sudden you stub your toe, or you drop something and it gets your attention, it's literally meant to get your attention. And those are the two words that I'm seeing from spirit, that I'm hearing from spirit. It's slow down. This is not a race. This is a journey. I mean, healing is not a one-time event. Yes, it can be messy. Yes, there can be emotions that come up. Yes, there are times where you just feel like doing absolutely nothing. Yes, there are other days where you feel more energetic. It's all completely normal. So no matter where you're at on the spectrum, just know that it's taking it one day at a time, one step at a time. But to have that forward momentum, and really feeling like, if you're in that space where you feel like, you know what, now's the time to reach out and to start exploring some other options that are available to me, take that step for you. I mean, I truly say that from my heart, because I've been there. And as I continue to work on my journey, I recognize that when I take a look at where I've been, where I'm at, where I'm going, it's like, wow, lot of changes, a lot of changes. And anyone that's not familiar with my journey, I do have a bit on my About Me page on my website, but just in a nutshell, I work through different addictions, work through, you know, being sexually abused as a young child, work through domestic abuse and the domestic violence that I experienced in my early years, and just having a very unhealthy relationship with myself, and even with how I viewed myself and my body. And that's a daily work and play. And when things come up, it's another opportunity to take a look at, oh, okay, that program is still running. Oh, that pattern is still there. And knowing that it's just pulling these things up by the roots. And sometimes, when you peel back one layer, then you've got additional layers to work through. So it's just continuing to make a commitment to yourself and doing the work. And when you start to, build that more loving relationship with yourself, and you find that inner peace and that bliss and that harmony, you start to attract more of the same in your life, and it truly is beautiful. And there's always this message that I would see, whether I'm out running errands or I'm out with my husband here in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, and it's this beautiful message that'll pop up from time to time, but it'll say, expect a miracle. So, when you wake up in the morning and you're in that space of gratitude, and you just, you have these expectations, it really truly is beautiful. So, uh, don't give up hope. You truly are worth it. It's just making that daily commitment for you. And again, if you're interested in learning more about the workshop, I do have it listed on my Facebook page under the events. I'll share it again this week in the feed. And if I can make a recommendation, reach out. Again, my website is Reiki, ReikiAngelikHands.com. Before I sign off for today's live, I am going to pull a card. I've worked with this deck before, but I always tune in to guidance as far as, to me, oracle cards are fun. But again, with cards, without cards, I really tune in with what's coming through from spirit and being connected with source. But this is just something fun that I would like to throw in for this week's live. So I'm working with the Mystical Shaman Oracle Cards books, and this is by Colette Baron Reed. I'm just going to give a quick shuffle and see what message wants to come up for us today. All right. Gonna pull a card here. So this one is the Ghost Dance, and I'm just going to take a quick peek at the book. I love the artistry of these cards. They're so beautiful. So I think I mentioned that when my husband and we made a trip a couple of weeks ago to the Upper Peninsula, so Upper Michigan, visited relatives on my dad's side of the family and honored my dad's legacy. My dad sadly passed away last August, and it was nice to reconnect with everyone. So we spent some time in Ontonagon, and then we made our final stop in Marquette. And I had mentioned to my husband and to a couple others that I talked to that I was visited by some of the Native American elders that were still very much connected to that land in the space where we were staying. It was absolutely gorgeous. And just to, have that come through and to have that beautiful visit. So it just reminded me of this because of the artistry of this card. You can tell by the colors and everything. It's gorgeous. So the message is the ghost dance of the American Plains Indians united the spirits of the living with those of the ancestors to bring peace to the world. When the ancestors are honored, they bring harmony to us. When we hold them responsible for all that is wrong with us today, they haunt us. Honor the spirits of the ancestors and receive their lessons and gifts. This includes honoring your own past lives. So the ancestors have a message of healing and a powerful medicine to offer you. Create a sacred moment at your altar, light a candle to them, and let your wisdom infuse you. At this stage in your life, you are done repeating their tragic stories. Step into the abundance that is offered to you. Receive the gifts of those that have come before you and write a new story for your life. So I don't look at things as like when somebody comes through and visits as a haunting, there's truly nothing to be afraid of. I'm talking to spirit all day long, so I have family members that come through, friends, native elders, ancestors. I connect with the Galactic Federation of Light. So it really comes down to what are you comfortable with? What is your belief system? And if there is a fear that comes up, really taking a look at that. I do offer mediumship mentoring for anyone that's looking to expand on working with their gifts and abilities. So I'll have to admit, back in 2016, when I literally said, okay, I'm willing and ready to completely work with all my gifts. Well, ask and you shall receive. And I was a bit overwhelmed at first. I mean, I had bits and pieces, different things growing up, remember from little girl on. And then there was a bit of a void for a while. But, looking back in 2016 time frame, it was like, boom, light switch on. And I worked with different mentors, different teachers over the years, and really learned to trust my own intuition and guidance and really hone in on my gifts. Each and every one of us has different gifts and abilities, and it's just trusting what's coming through. So, with this, it's just a reminder that if there is something that you're currently going through in your life, is a certain part of your story, chapter that you're not in agreement with, take some time. You have that free will, you have that choice to decide. You can rewrite those parts at any time. So if that's reaching out, doing some one-on-one coaching with me, or some energy healing, taking a workshop, dipping your toes in the water, trying something different, or just trying to get an understanding of what's going on with you, knowing that it's specific to you, reach out. I would love to hear from you. I hope that you have an amazing week. Thanks again for hopping on, and I look forward to working with you soon. Thank you.